Hello, everyone. Welcome to Christopher's Entertainment Blog. I am your host, Chris. Welcome to my very first video for Supergirl Season 1, Episode 1. This is the pilot. And, for me personally, I wasn't sure if I was going to actually, review this show or not. I do a couple other, review shows. And wasn't sure if I was going to like this show or not. Even though I'm a huge fan of Superman, one of my favorite superheroes, and I was like, well, Supergirl. I mean, I should like, Supergirl. So I didn't know what to expect with this pilot episode. I only seen a couple clips here and there, or a couple, like a trailer or something months and months ago, and watched this first pilot. And honestly, it was the biggest pilot or first episode of any superhero show out there right now. It was like 13 million viewers or something. So a lot of people interested in this show. And I got to tell you, I liked it. I thought it was cool. I don't think it was the best pilot episode from, the other shows. But I thought it was really cool. Melissa Benoist as Supergirl, I think, is the perfect choice. I think she's great. She looks the part. She's, she's gorgeous girl. And I think she does. I think she does very well. And I think they picked the right choice. So, I don't have a problem with that. This whole episode, it kind of threw me for a loop because I thought they were going to go with the show a similar tone to Man of Steel with the Henry Cavill Superman. They're not. I was shocked to find out that they're actually in tone with the Richard Donner, Christopher Reeve Superman. The old, Superman the movie and Superman 2 and all that. And I was like, whoa. I mean, and I was like, okay. I mean, after I figured out that that's the tone that they're going for, I was like, okay, that's cool. I can get into this. I mean, it's like a modern feel from those shows. So, hey, I mean, it could work. But her suit is very similar to Henry Cavill's Superman, of now, Man of Steel. So I think they're going to try to go for a little bit of a mesh between the two. But I think it's more in tone with Christopher Reeve Superman. I really do. And that's okay with me. I liked it. Because she plays the part so well. I mean, she's like oh gosh, golly, Lois. I mean, the clumsy, nerdy, person at the newspaper, or I mean, what was the newspaper, place that she's working? It's not the Daily Planet. I mean, obviously that's Superman, but it was another one. I don't have the name of it here, but yeah, I mean that seems a little cliche. Like she's going to take the same route as her cousin Superman, but I didn't really mind it too much. I mean, it's a cool way for her to get out there and do what she has to do. So I didn't mind that. Callista Flockhart is in this show as well. I thought she came off as a little bit mean. She kind of reminds me of the J. Jonah Jameson a little bit from Spider-Man. Get me the picture, Spider-Man, and she says, I want a clear picture of Supergirl, and she kind of reminds me of that a little bit, the female version of J. Jonah. But it should be interesting to see where they go with that. But the whole scene with Kara and I don't know what is Callista Flockhart's what's her character name? Cat Grant. There it is. Okay, Cat. Her name is Cat. That whole scene, where Kara was upset that she wasn't called Superwoman, and then Cat says, "Oh, well, I'm a girl, and I'm successful and this and that." That was a cool scene. I like that. This show is very much empowering women to be more relatable towards young girls and everything. I think a lot of young girls will will like this show very much. Very relatable. Very, very much a role model. I mean, there was like a scene. Also, some woman said, "Oh, I mean, she's quite a role model," or so said something about being a role model for her kids. So I think this show can be quite relatable to a lot of younger girls. I really do. And it seems like Melissa Benoist's Supergirl, Akara, is very relatable. I mean, one thing a lot of people complain about Superman is that he's not really relatable. Even though he's one of my favorites, or not the favorite superhero for me. But that's one thing a lot of people says, that he's not relatable. But Supergirl seems to be very relatable. With her awkwardness and trying to fit in, and trying to find her place in the world. And she's got she's like adopted or whatever. So I mean, there's a lot of relatable things for her, for younger girls to relate to. So that's cool. And yeah, I mean the ending scene, the lasers at the end, that she has that lasers. I like them a lot. That whole scene reminded me so much of the older Superman, or Superman in general, and I really enjoyed that. I like the nod to the older Superman and Supergirl, that her parents, the Danvers, are Dean Cain and Helen Slater from the old Superman show. I mean, I laughed. I laughed a lot. I mean, Supergirl, the old Supergirl, the 84, like from 84, I think it was. So that was funny. The old Supergirl and the older Superman from the show made or her parents on this show. I thought that was funny. I laughed when I seen them. I wasn't expecting that. So that was cool. But and I liked the episode. I really did. I like the nod that it's like the nod of the older Superman, the Christopher Reeve Superman. That was cool. In a modern day, the whole scene with her lifting the plane was awesome. Reminded me of the not so good Superman Returns. Even though I didn't really mind Superman Returns, it was okay. But it was that scene in that one where he lifts the plane, and this was in this, and she lifts the plane, and it was cool. I don't want it to get like Man of Steel, or not Man of Steel, but Superman Returns, where all she does is lift stuff, or all he did was lift stuff, heavy stuff. I hope they don't do that. Yeah, I mean, that was a great scene. The whole saving the plane, great scene. The end, towards the end, the fight scene, where she smashed the tractor trailer and the lasers, that was cool. But yeah, I mean, there were some negatives I had in this episode as well. It wasn't the strongest episode of a lot of the superhero pilots. I think this was okay. It wasn't the best, but it was okay for a pilot. But I thought the villain was kind of weak, kind of lame. Wasn't really, I think his name was Vartox. Wasn't exactly the best villain. Also, I thought some of the fight scenes were kind of weak. She was getting thrown around a lot. I was like, come on. I guess they can't have her dominate. I can understand that. But at least have her dominate a little bit more. I mean, she was getting thrown around. I mean, she was kind of learning, I guess. She said, oh, I'm learning. But you need to learn fast. I mean, you are like a god. So, I mean, come on. I mean, get in there and, start doing something. So hopefully in the next few episodes, she'll start to learn to really get into this and start to dominate a little bit more. And I can see having a challenge here and there, I mean, to keep it interesting. But I expect it to be a little bit more dominant. And some of the explosions they did in this episode were really lame. I mean, Vartox was like jumping and running away at one point, and they had the missiles from the helicopter, and they didn't seem very, there wasn't much of an explosion. It was kind of weak. So, I mean, the budget on this is probably going to be insane for them to try to get a lot of the CG and a lot of the stuff they need to do to really make it, believable. So you can see that the budget on this wasn't the biggest for the pilot. Hopefully they'll put more into it as the show goes on. Hopefully it gets more accepted by the people, hopefully. And then they'll put more budget into it because, you know, I think they should have a little bit more budget because the explosions were kind of weak. The fight scenes were kind of weak as well. They needed to do that, but it is the pilot. I mean, there is stuff that's a little bit wonky when a pilot starts out. I mean, it's the first episode, so they're learning as well. So hopefully they'll pick it up and get into a rhythm as the episodes go on. But yeah, I mean, I really liked the episode. Jimmy Olsen being in it was cool as well. There's more there. You know, he's like been sent there by Superman to protect her and look after her, maybe be like someone to turn to, you know. So that was cool. The whole her getting the cape or whatever, the baby blanket at the end was cool. But one other negative thing was like her suit, even though it looks awesome. It's like, why doesn't it rip or whatever? I mean, I don't understand that. Like, wasn't it just like regular fabric? I don't know. I thought that was kind of weird. But yeah, as my dog gets upset with me that I'm not talking about him more. But yeah, guys, this episode was also really quick, really fast paced, a lot of stuff happening. But yeah, I mean, the one thing about the fast pace is that it was fast paced, but it also went through a lot of the stuff early on, didn't explain a lot of stuff. But you know, it was really quick, really fast paced. So that could be a curse or you know, or not. I mean, I think it was a negative and a plus. That it was quick, but they didn't really explain a lot of the stuff early on. But you know, not too bad. It was a little bit of a nitpick there, but yeah, guys, very cool first pilot. I really enjoyed it. If there's anything I might have missed, please give a thumbs up. Or please, you know, if anything I may have missed, please write in the comments, and please give a thumbs up as well. But that will do it for me for this video, guys. Hopefully be back next week for Supergirl, okay? But that will do it for me, guys. I am Chris for Christopher's Entertainment Blog. Thanks a lot, guys. Take it easy.